I'm going to start with the most expensive cars, and we're going to work our way to the top of the list, which are the cheapest cars, and in my opinion, the most dangerous because they're very easy to convince you to buy. Number 5, the 2015 to present Ford Mustang EcoBoost. Now you may be saying, Alex, I know not to buy a Mustang. That's obvious. But knowing how smart your little one is, I know they may try and convince you that it's the Eco model. Hey Ma, that stands for economy. I love the environment. Sure you do. Little do you know the EcoBoost is just as powerful as it is eco-friendly. In a lineup of Mustangs, the EcoBoost may have the smallest engine, but it's actually faster than the V6 Mustang, and it holds its own against the V8 GT Mustang in stock form. A few modifications later and the EcoBoost Mustang can be made even faster than the V8 GT Mustang, a Camaro, or even the Corvette. This is definitely a pony car to stay away from. Number 4, the 2013 to present Ford Focus ST. This is the first on the list with a well-known and established economy car nameplate that seems like a no-brainer. That is, until you find out that deciding between the SE and the ST doesn't just mean you're deciding on power windows or cloth seats. In 2013, Ford decided to make a Ford Focus ST performance version with a whopping 252 horsepower under the hood. That's enough to propel this car to 14-second quarter-mile times. As a reference, that's enough to beat out most 80s, 90s, and even 2000s Camaro Firebirds and Mustangs. With used Ford Focus STs going for only about $13,000, the Focus could definitely be high up on your kid's wish list. Just make sure that there's an E after the S. This is the part of the video where we're going to get into the really dangerous cars. The reason why I say they're dangerous is because they're very inexpensive. You could be easily convinced that you only need to spend like $3,000 for a first car, and you end up buying a performance machine that's even cheaper to modify. Number 3, the 1997 to 2005 Chevy Impala, Buick Regal, and Grand Prix GTP. Now, all three of these cars get grouped together because they're basically the same car. GM loves to rebadge the same car, and this is a great example. The W body, as it's called technically, were usually bought by fleets, Impala, older people, Buick, or younger professionals, Pontiac. And they are usually a solid choice for a first-time buyer. They're cheap at about $3,000 for a nice one, reliable, and a little larger than an economy car, making it safer. Only problem is, some of these run-of-the-mill cars had supercharged engines under the hood. All three could be found with the awesome 3.8-liter supercharged engine that produced 240 horsepower and 280 foot-pounds of torque. These cars were also usually modified, and some were even able to keep up with real sports cars with just a few simple modifications. I've done this personally to my father-in-law's 1999 Regal GS, and it's a tire-smoking beast now. So by all means, get them one of these cars. Just not the SS, GS, or GTP model. Number 2, the 2005 to 2010 Chevy Cobalt SS. Similar to the Focus, the Cobalt was an established, bland student driver type of car. A perfect cheap car for a kid who was going back and forth to school and who was going to bang it up anyway. The problem came in when Chevy slapped an SS badge on it, along with a supercharged or later turbocharged engine. Depending on the year SS you buy, you're either dealing with 205 horsepower or an amazing 260 horsepower. These cars also came with really cool and dangerous modifications like no lift shifting and launch control. Easily modified, these cars can run with most any fast car on the street. You know, the kind of car that you don't want your kid anywhere near. Cobalt, okay. Cobalt SS, not okay. Number 1, the 2003 to 2005 Dodge Neon SRT4. Now, normally, if your kid came to you and wanted to buy a Neon, you'd likely pat them on the back and say, "Ah, that's okay. We could do better for you." I mean, what kid wants to pull up to high school in a Neon? Well, a sneaky one, if you ask me. The SRT4 was the American tuner car that held its own against all the other import tuners of its time. With a turbocharged 2.4-liter four-cylinder, it came in at about 230 horsepower. Later, independent dyno testing showed that it was more like 260 to 270 horsepower. I helped build one of these cars when they first came out, and let me tell you, this little Neon would eat Corvettes all day. It even had nitrous on it. The Neon in its day was the second fastest car in Dodge's lineup, second only to the Dodge Viper. Okay, there you have it. That's my top 5 list of cars you definitely shouldn't have your kids drive while they're in high school. Now, I know there's a ton more, so please list them in the comment section below. I'd love to see them. Also, know that if your kid is anything like myself, or most of the subscribers on this channel, they're eventually going to try and make anything go fast, so be aware. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. We do everything car related on this channel, from car reviews, DIYs, racing, performance modifications, you name it, it's right here. I hope to see you next time. As always, have a great day.